Hey guys, this is going to be a different type of video. Also, welcome to the channel. If you are new, hi, welcome. My name is Brian, and I do stuff occasionally. um, I should definitely do more stuff than what I want to do. But today I felt like sharing a different video. It's more going to be a story time type video. Um, so a year ago marks the day that I bet on myself, and life has changed for the better. About a year ago, more or less, I was just unhappy with my old job. Just a lot of stuff going on. This manager wasn't treating me right in terms of, I was working as a department leader in a grocery store, but people who were newer than me getting paid more than me, and just false promises and stuff like that. Manager, great guy, but in my opinion, not a great manager. And it just a lot of stuff happened, right? Uh, the main reason I decided to leave that job in the end was because I had been asking for the schedule since Friday, and they didn't print out the schedule. We have an app that we use and we could check the schedule, but I had let them know the app is not letting me log in. I can't check my schedule, so I need to wait for the printed version so I can see my schedule. So Friday, schedule's not printed out. I was like, all right, cool. Saturday, I don't work, but I text a friend who I know is there. I was asking her, hey, can you send me a picture of the new schedule? And the picture she sent me was of the schedule of that week, which meant the schedule wasn't printed out. I get to Sunday because I worked, and the schedule's not printed out. I was like, what the hell, right? I was like, whatever. Gets to Monday, manager is in, and he prints out the schedule, and I noticed that one of my shifts is Friday night shift, and I never work Friday nights because I am very active at church. That particular weekend, I was actually going to be singing, and Fridays was our days to go rehearse. So I did what any reasonable person would do, and call the attention of their manager and let them know what's going on. And I was telling him, I'm not going to say his name, it's not right, but I was telling him, I was like, hey, I can't work this shift on Friday. I got church to do. And he was like, well, why didn't you say it sooner? And I'm just like, bruh, really? I've been asking for the schedule since Friday and you haven't printed it out. So of course he blames it on me for not being able to check the app, which he knows I can't do. And he tells me, if you're not going to show up for your shift, then try to get someone to come in for you. If they don't come in for you and you don't show up, you're getting a write-up. Naturally, I'm upset about this, but I was like, okay, whatever. I text everyone who's not available that day, and they're like, oh, hey, I'm sorry, I'm busy. Another person's like, hey, I'm actually going to LA for the weekend, so I won't be able to do it. And my assistant manager specifically said, just get anyone to cover. So I was like, okay, anyone? Okay. So we had this kid who was working with the program that allowed people with disabilities to work, and I asked him if he could cover my shift because he was legit the only guy available. And I've actually known this guy for a while because we went to high school together. So I was very comfortable working with him, and I knew that he could do, yeah, maybe a little slow, but I know I was competent enough to ask him to cover my shift. And I was like, hey, you cover my shift? And he said, yeah. The next day I get to work, and manager pulls me aside. The assistant manager specifically pulls me aside, and she was like, he can't cover your shift. You're a cashier, he's not. Does that make sense? Does it make sense for someone who's not a cashier to cover your shift? And I was like, you said anyone. I said, no, not him. Anyone but him. And at this point I was pissed. It's like, if you don't show up for your shift, you're getting a write-up. So I thought about it. The very next morning, I sent an email out and was like, putting my 2 weeks. I just can't work here anymore. It's a very toxic environment, and I'm not showing up for my shift today. I stood up for myself, and I bet on myself. I had nowhere to go. At that point, there was stuff that was already going on, that I was already looking for a new job. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna find this new job, put in my 2 weeks. All right, that was my plan. I was already planning on leaving, but because of that, this is very frustrating. I was like, no, put my values ahead of work for the first time in a long time. Stood up, stood my ground, and said, no, I'm putting in my 2 weeks. I had the last laugh. My last day over there was March 31st. 1 week before my last 2 weeks, someone steps inside, and it's the manager from the car wash that's right next door to us. And I've known him for years. His brother actually was my coworker at one point. I've been to his house because it's not too far from where I live, and that's his brother would give me rides to work occasionally. And so I kind of knew him vaguely. Nice dude. So I was like, hey, are you guys hiring? And he gives me his number. We get in contact and stuff like that. We scheduled the interview, blah, 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 blah. I got the job. And I started the very next day, April 1st. And since then, my life has just changed completely. I was making less money at the car wash, but I was working way more hours. And something that I always complained. I was like, how could I be a department leader and not be guaranteed 40 hours a week? Makes no sense. I was the only one working that department, so whenever I wasn't there, it was a mess. So every time I'd have to come in and work super hard, and it was never enough for my manager. But in this new job, way easier. The environment is super chill, and I got my hours. What more could I ask for? Yeah, I hated leaving my other position because the only main reason I didn't want to leave was because I loved the people I worked with. But that wasn't enough reason for me to stay in a toxic environment. At least for me, it was toxic. I had no place to grow. 3 days into my new job, and the supervisor quits. When the supervisor quits, he just doesn't show up. So now there's this open position. And I had met the district manager the day before, and since I've had 3+ years customer service experience, he was like, telling my manager, hey, why don't you tell Brian about the position, see if he wants to apply for the supervisor position. And I said yes. 2 weeks into me getting this new job, and I'm a supervisor. I bet on myself, and it paid off. It doesn't end there. Later down the line, the assistant manager at our site got promoted to site manager, and he got to become a manager of his own site. So he left, and now there's this vacant position, and they offer me the position. Well, they offered me an interview, and I still have to interview, but I got the position. Exactly 6 months after I started, October 1st, I was officially a manager at my job, assistant manager. Made a lot more money than what I did at the grocery store. That's because I bet on myself. You can do it too. And it's a different type of video to see April Fools. But this is my April Fool's story. It's no joke, no prank. Life just falls into place for those who definitely work hard for it. The story doesn't end there. My manager's going to be moving on pretty soon. He applied into the police academy. He's going to go. He has a bachelor's in criminology, criminal justice. The point is, he's going to go and become a cop. And rumors are that I'm going to get promoted to manager. Today marks 1 year since I started working at this company, and I love it. And almost a year into it, a little bit over a year, I might become a manager. Where I spent 3 years working hard to move up and was underappreciated in my opinion. I loved, like I said, previous manager, great guy, not a great manager. And since the car wash is right next to my old job, I still go into the grocery store, buy like snacks or drinks or whatever. So I still see him and I still talk to him. No bad feelings between us, right? It's just I needed to do what I felt like was best for myself. I moved on, still chilling. I still say hi to all my old coworkers. I meet all the new guys that they hire. Have a genuine conversation, and if they have questions, I try to answer. It's weird because some of the regular customers, when I walk in, they still recognize me. So they're like, "Oh, do you work here?" And I start talking. That's my April Fool's story. I know it's different than a lot of people are expecting a prank or something. No, it's no prank. Just wanted to share my story and hope that story could help someone out. Have a nice day, guys. On the other channel, though, we do have an April Fool's video if you want to check it out. I'll be linked in the description, top link. Have fun, leave a comment. Jeremy's going to take over and create some chaos. Peace. King out. Love you guys.